I'm at Edinburgh Airport in the middle of June, just waiting the arrival of our second batch of sea eagle chicks for the 5-year reintroduction programme on the east coast of Scotland.
I'm about to welcome a consignment of small young sea eagles to Scotland that have come all the way from Norway, and where I was last week with the people who were trying to catch them.
I was in Norway with the Environment Minister, Mike Russell. We had a fantastic trip up Norway's second largest fjord and saw some of the sea eagle nests there. And we did actually collect a chick from one of the nests that the Mike saw. So that was really fantastic to be able to check the nest out on that visit and then go back and take a chick later on.
You know, the sea eagle is part of our native wildlife, and it's an iconic species. It's one that was here before but was then killed out by man, and I think it's right that we bring it back. It's also a top predator, so it will come in and it will balance up what's happening in the wild. So we're delighted that this scheme is happening today.
I believe the sea eagle can flourish in the east of Scotland. There's very good records that it did used to flourish here. We've got great habitat, lots of food, and also a lot of people looking out for these birds, which I think will help make the project a success. From last year's release, we've had a really fantastic public response. The birds were looking after and feeding themselves only 6-8 weeks after release, so they obviously found the habitat and food suitable. And people have just been really thrilled to see them and really want the project to succeed.
But it's come back now by our actions, and I think it's important, rather than to look back, to look forward and see Scotland with the eagle as an iconic part of its wildlife.
Once the birds have touched down in Edinburgh, they'll then have their customs and documents and things processed, and then we'll be taking them to our secret release location in Fife. It's really important that we keep the birds really undisturbed there, that we just treat it just as we would a sea eagle nest in the wild. So once they're in the cages, they're fed a couple of times a day. They have a very good varied diet of fish, venison, rabbit, and we feed them through a fabric sleeve so they don't see people at all up there. And we wait until they reach about 3.5–4 months old, so the age that they would naturally fledge in the wild, and then we literally just open the fronts of the cages and they're released in the middle of August. Just before we release them, we do fit every bird with a radio backpack so we can follow their movements, hopefully over the next 5 years, right up until they're breeding.
I think it's absolutely obvious that sea eagles are naturally occurring in Scotland. They would be here if man hadn't intervened. Now we've got the opportunity to reintroduce them. They seem to be settling in extremely well. What's going to happen over the next 4 years is they will continue to come. It's a 5-year programme, and I think probably within about a decade we'll have a Scottish population that's healthy and growing.